All right, for this explainer, we're going to put on our instructional coaching hats. We're diving into a real classroom lesson on business strategy to break down one of the most powerful teaching tools out there, the art of the question. So, what do you think is the most powerful tool in a classroom? Here's a hint. It's not the smartboard, it's not the latest app, and it's not even the textbook. It's something way more fundamental, a skill that any of us can get better at. You got it, the right question. Seriously, strategic questioning is the engine that actually drives critical thinking. So today, we're going to be instructional coaches, breaking down the tape of a lesson on SWOT analysis to see exactly how a teacher's questions can build understanding one moment at a time. Okay, so here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with the big idea, the art of the question. Then we'll build our coach's questioning toolbox. After that, we'll see some master strokes in practice, find a chance for refinement, and wrap it all up with your turn to ask. Let's do this. All right, before we jump into analyzing the lesson itself, we've got to get our coaching toolbox ready. Let's go over 4 key questioning techniques that we'll be on the lookout for. First tool in the box, cold calling. And look, this isn't about putting kids on the spot or trying to catch them out. It's actually a really powerful way to make sure everyone's in the game, creating a culture where every single voice is expected to contribute. Next up, pause time. Now, this is super important. This is not the same as wait time. We're talking about that intentional silence after a student gives their answer. That little pause is this powerful nonverbal signal that says, hey, that's a great start. Tell me more. Then we've got bounced questions. This one is a total game changer. It can completely shift the classroom dynamic. You go from this simple teacher to student back and forth to a real student to student conversation. And last but not least, elaboration and second drafting. You can think of these as the fine-tuning tools in our kit. This is how a teacher takes an answer that's already pretty good and gently pushes for just a bit more precision, more detail, and a much deeper level of thinking. Okay, our toolbox is packed, we're ready to go. Let's get into the analysis and see these techniques in the wild. We've pulled out some amazing moments from this lesson that really show the power of asking questions on purpose. All right, first masterstroke we're going to highlight is the elaboration prompt. Check out the impact at 2 key moments, 5 minutes and 5 seconds in, and again at 9:37. In both of these cases, the teacher gets a correct answer but refuses to just stop there. Instead, they use it as a launch pad, pushing from a simple definition to actual applied understanding. And this quote right here, it's the perfect example. The student nails what SWOT stands for. An easy place to just stop, right? But nope. The teacher immediately follows up, pushing past simple memorization to get at the purpose. It's a classic move from what to so what. Okay, next up, let's talk about the power of the pause. That's strategic silence. At 7:26, you can see how just a brief pause creates the perfect space for an elaboration prompt. And then way later, at 55:48, that same kind of silence is what gives another student the confidence to jump in with their own question. That's what a fully engaged classroom sounds like. This moment at 7:26 is just textbook, perfect execution. The student offers up local credibility, which is a great but kind of abstract idea. The teacher just pauses, lets that idea hang in the air for a second, and then uses that space to ask for a concrete example. Boom. The idea becomes real for everyone in the room. And for our third masterstroke, let's look at how bounced questions literally create this web of conversation across the room. At 11:39, you see a student who's struggling a bit, but instead of the teacher swooping in for the rescue, they bounce the question to a peer for support. That is collaborative learning at its absolute best. This one at 19:04 is so simple but so incredibly effective. A student names one competitor. The teacher could have just said, yep, good, and moved right on. But instead, they immediately bounce it to the whole class. Who else? It's such a small move, but it instantly turns one person's right answer into a brainstorming session for everyone. Okay, but look, great coaching isn't just a highlight reel, right? It's about finding those tiny little tweaks that can make a huge difference. So now let's pivot and look at a chance for refinement, a way to make the cold calling technique even more powerful. So our analysis zeroed in on a really subtle but powerful detail about cold calling: the order you do it in. When you ask the question first and then say the student's name, every single person in that room has to do the cognitive work. They all have to prepare an answer. But if you say the name first, well, everyone else just kind of breathes a sigh of relief and mentally checks out. And when we looked at the tape, we found a few spots where the name actually came first. It's a super common habit, totally understandable. But just spotting that pattern is the first step. Because flipping that order, just asking the question before you say the name, is maybe the smallest change a teacher can make for the biggest possible return on engagement. All right, so we've broken down the tape, we've looked at the master strokes and the chances for refinement. What does this all mean for us? Let's boil it all down to the key takeaways. So here's what it really all comes down to. 1. Asking questions with intention is what flips the switch from passive to active learning. 2. Having that toolbox of different techniques is what creates really dynamic, interesting discussions. 3. Even tiny changes like question first, name second can have a massive impact on engagement. And finally, number 4. Great questioning isn't magic. It's a craft. It's something you can watch, analyze, and get better at. So, as we wrap up, I'm going to leave you with this question to chew on. Based on everything we've looked at today, think about your own world, whether that's a classroom, a meeting at work, or even just your own dinner table. What's one small change you can make in how you ask questions tomorrow to spark some deeper thinking?